You can hear us?
Yes.
Hey,
Hey.
well, welcome to our 11. Yeah, hey, and how you participate here is how you participate everywhere. We can see the screen, so I can see you here, and we got Sharon Parker coming in right now, so it's an official meeting. Stopping is always front row.
Ready to
Yes.
go?
All right, Akil's ready to go. All right. Sharon, don't leave. We just got started. But yet, I'm excited to be here. Here's what we have ready for to go today. I'm going to give you a little bit of a market snapshot, and then just a little bit of what I got to take on a forecast of what we see. But we got a packed meeting as well. I got my sidekicks with Verna and Namesh just for a little bit of banter. We're working on a little bit of a studio. You can see that online. We're going to go find it. So if anybody can find this kind of a studio table counter, kind of a kidney type, but not too. Stopping it probably has one in storage from a wedding or something that we can get to. But yet, let's get started with something good. So we like the interview to get going. You can participate online. Just got to take yourself off mute. You're yelling at your dog to come back, then don't put yourself off of mute. Let's get started with something good. Who's got something exciting to share? Stopping us.
Yeah, I had a broker open house on Monday from Memorial. It was really fine. Thank you for everybody who showed up. We go a lot.
Could you guys hear that online?
Thumbs up if you heard us online. Did you hear Sapna?
Okay.
No.
All right. Thanks,
So
baby.
just be careful when you speak. You've got to be loud so everybody can hear it online. She had a broker open house. Some of you are going, what is that?
Right.
There was back in the day when we couldn't move a listing, we would invite other agents, call them broker open house, to come and give a perspective, to give some feedback. And so Soppin just wanted an excuse to bring agents together in the party and have a good time.
Because the
No,
house already sold.
And she sold the house already too.
Wait, hang on. You sold the house before the
Yeah.
broker opened?
And then had a party.
Still had the party.
Yeah, makes total sense. All right, great. Somebody else share something exciting.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead. 3 closing. Well, good work. All right. That's your new load, 3 a month.
Okay, that's your new.
And he's turning the lights off.
Yeah,
too.
it was like.
Drop the mic. Awesome. Good. Anybody else? Something good.
I got a 10. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm-
He got browner.
I got brown.
He got bronzer. Like you
No,
got
my
like
wife's
a
brown.
bronze. You brown?
I had number 2 graduate from high school, so
Yeah.
2 down,
Yeah.
2 more to go. That's 50%.
50%.
That's exciting.
Doing good.
Yes. I have a buddy that has 6 kids. He's 3 and 3. I said, I'll take my 4. Anybody else? Something exciting. This is where you interact. It's okay. It doesn't have to be business. It can be personal. Getting married. Maybe you're pregnant. I'm not looking at anyone when I say that. Anyone else? Anybody online have something exciting to share?
Come on, Francisca.
Oh, go ahead, Melissa. You what?
Whoop, whoop.
Next year. Okay. What school? What school? Dawson High School. Okay. Awesome. Okay, great. We got our PowerPoint ready to go.
Ready to go.
We're going to see how we're working on the technology. It was so much easier when I sat at my computer and I controlled everything. Now we got to interact. But I like, look, even Jack's showing up. He's like, what's going on back here? Okay, here we go. Look, we got. That's what my wife said. I said, I have 2 disclaimers. My sister was in town. Of course, she's got to get a 6 o'clock flight out of Bush. So you know what time you have to get up and to leave to be able to get there. So I was up at what, 3:30? And you know, when you have to get up at 3:30, what happens during the night? You don't sleep because you're worried about getting up at 3:30. Anyways, I've had a lot of coffee. She goes, and I said, I'm gonna bring a lot of energy. She goes, you're gonna bring enough you can hear at the house? I said, probably. Isn't that good? She goes, not for everyone. Anyway, but it brought out Jack. I mean, he wouldn't have come if he didn't hear us.
Oh, were you at the airport this morning?
Yeah, this morning.
Oh, I could have met you there, folks.
Okay, right back. All right, next up with the bucket fills. All
All
right,
right.
PC coach, come on up, Nikki. Give us an update. Step up to the counter.
That caught me out of guard.
No, every day, every week. We have a team meeting every Wednesday. And we're gonna ask our PC and our MCAs and our tech, everybody to give us an update.
Awesome, I'm going on vacation.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
that's
a
important.
good
That's
update.
important. No, I'm kidding. I'll be working. I'm just not gonna be in the office. But what is going on this week in our world is we're having the contract to close class. If you have any doubt, need a refresher on how the contracts work from listings to closing, please show up. We have it in the morning from 9 to 12 and in the evening from 5:30 to 8:30. It's extremely useful. Some of our experienced agents actually attended it and said that they benefit from it. So please, and if you ever need accountability of any help, I'm here to assist any of you, anytime.
Okay?
And one of my agents closed over $1 million. So, yeah, she was very happy and very proud
Awesome.
of it.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
awesome. There you go. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for your leadership.
All
And
right,
energy. I
next.
like it. She's getting loud too. All right, now we
MCA.
got Krista. Woo!
Woo! Hey guys! Okay, so I am so super stoked to announce to you, I have a new AMCA with me today.
Yay!
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
just tell everybody one fun thing about yourself that they wouldn't speak about. I was a president of my story in college when I was.
She's bouncy.
So you're gonna take charge.
That's right.
You're right. Yes.
So just so everyone knows, your MCA department is dedicated on getting you guys paid quickly. Like we work tirelessly because we want you guys to get your money in. So, anyways, we're gonna help. Thank
Well,
you.
do your paperwork right. Be proactive and give her a moment to learn the system and figuring it out. But we're glad to have you on board. Welcome. All right. All right. You have something? You got your picture.
All right.
You could have been murdered. Yeah.
I was last week. Look,
Yeah,
you were on
you're
vacation.
Is
Brownie.
the tech corner gonna come again too? Yes. Norman, am I on there twice? No. Oh, okay, good. You're gonna get the tech corner. All right, guys. Well, I was gone for a week. I'm glad to be back. Y'all didn't leave me alone for a week, that's for sure. But I'm always here to help. Anything you need, Vernon and I are here for you. Anything special? One thing? Are we bringing that up a little later?
We are, but you can always mention it, you know.
Yes, you gotta tell them how many times again, Chad? 47. 47 times. All right, guys, so we're slowly starting to open things up. A big thing that we put together for tomorrow is a AWSW happy hour, okay, at Breakers Korean Barbecue.
Absolutely.
Starts at 4:30 tomorrow, until we close it down, right? Sharon. Yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah, Sharon, close your ears. 8:30, Sharon. 8:30. 4:30.
Yeah.
I like
What time is it?
He's leadership, he
4:30
just
to
felt like
8:30.
he had to stay to
Support
support you. Yeah. Yes.
Are you not gonna tell us like
4:30, no,
She said the mess is not allowed to 8:30. We'll keep them.
4:30, she said I'm not gonna show up till 8:30. 4:30 tomorrow at Breakers in Town Center Circle, and we'd love to have everyone. Absolutely, this is like kicking off summer, right?
Yeah.
You're back, we're moving out of this
Join.
pandemic, come hang out, even if it's you just showing up. I've heard that AMCAP and Patent Title and First American Home Power are gonna buy you a drink or two.
Right. Get
You
you
get
there.
coupons.
Bring your recruit.
And
Bring
bring
your
a
recruit. That's
absolutely.
right. If you
Yeah.
know somebody that's out there that has that KW culture written, but they're hidden at some other agency, bring them through. We would love to support them, love up on them, and get them playing some games. And we'll probably win. But
Okay.
absolutely.
A little bit on the tech front, because we'll just combine the two right now. Schedule has been shifted a little bit to offer some flexibility. There's going to actually be a single class every single day. All right, instead of doubling up on classes per day, just check out the schedule. There'll be a morning class on one day and an evening class on the other. Okay? So look out for some piece of tech every single day.
Certainly, my picture's up there too. So June 24th, speaking on the same culture of masterminding and doing different things, we're having a masterminding session here in the Morris Training Room. Again, invite people outside of our agency that you know that you want to grow and learn with. It'll be June 24th. We'll also broadcast it via Zoom, right? But we want to have a roundtable discussion. Bring your questions, bring your challenges. We're going to have experts in every field that kind of supports real estate as an industry available, including like a counselor, psychologist, right? This market is heavy and it's having some heavy impact on us as realtors. And so we want to make sure that we speak to the whole person and that we mastermind and get solutions to our challenges. All right. Already talked about that. Marketing moment.
Greg, you got a marketing moment?
Oh, okay.
You can find it.
It's always ready to market.
Come on up. Come on up.
All right, so yeah, my name is Greg. I mean, some of you may know me, some of you not. My name is Greg. I handle all the marketing at the office. Just some quick things to know in terms of a resource. Like if any of you guys have questions regarding marketing, you guys can ask me to book time with me. I'll post it in the Facebook group so you guys can see it. Generally, if you need help with flyers, just feedback, right? You think of a strategy, you think about Facebook ads, you think about your brand identity, you think about, does these colors make sense? Where's the KWS Southwest logo? Any of those things, I'm like probably the best person to ask. You can always reach out to me for any of those questions. In addition, don't forget, like we have our website, kwsw.com. We're doing more promotion for our website. So if you see any Facebook ads and things like that, that's all part to support you guys and what you're doing your own efforts. So that's that. I think that's it for now. But any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yep, absolutely.
Good, thanks.
Okay. Awesome. Oh, I got a picture of me.
Are you
Do I
ready?
have the control? All right. One time, sometimes we forget about a cultural moment, right? And when we call this the John Morris Training Room, right? Some of you are like, why do we call it the John Morris Training Room? I'm gonna look at this. It was an agent who was with us a long time, Kimber or Sharon. How would you describe John Morris? And why would we name a training room after him?
He's just such an amazing giving person to anyone. Open door policy and has a laugh and it just, you can't even describe it. You pick him out of a room, 600 people, happy, giving, great agent.
Yep. And taught a lot. Yes, and he was in the market center one with his door open, and he was in the training room, training and giving back to agents as well. ALC member, I did really well. So when you hear that, the Morris training, it was just a respect of a legacy to him. He died of cancer, right? And we were very close to him, and there's a group of people that really supported him and the family moving forward. So that's why I just put that as a cultural moment, right? Give back, right? As you go along, in the beginning, you're going to need some help, but as you go along, pull somebody else, share, teach a class when you have success as well. Look for ways that you can give back. All right, let's jump in a little bit before I do that. I want to give a market snapshot of what we're seeing. So if you're to describe the market to a current seller and or buyer, what would you say? It's a hot market, okay? Interesting. How do we describe a hot market? They're flying off the market, okay? Most of them are from California. I like
New
your
York.
perspective. What else would you say?
It's sold before it gets on the market.
All right, well, slow that down one more time. Say that again.
It's sold before it even reaches the market.
Okay, great. We have somebody online. Go ahead. Who was that?
Is that Davita?
Yes.
Okay,
All right,
say it
go
again.
ahead. Say it again.
I said properties are sold before they even reach the market, before you can
Sometimes
even get them
properties are
listed.
sold before they
Yes.
even hit the market. That's correct. Yes. You know, we're not supposed to have pocket listings per se. We do. Okay, good. I like the virtual world just joining in with this, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anyone else? How would you describe it?
Multiple offers.
It is
For
a seller's
sure.
market. And how do we view, for some of us who don't, let's get into specifics. How do we what determines the seller's market specifically?
There are fewer
Or
properties,
inventory?
there are more buyers than there are properties for sale.
Yeah, but that's not how technically we describe a seller's market. A seller's market is described by months of inventory. So how many months or less describes
3
a
months or
seller's
less.
market?
3 months or less of property.
Yeah, 4 months or less. And I'm about ready to show you some graphs that doesn't say 4 months or less. It says 0.4 months or less.
Yeah, I was about to say 4 days, a couple of weeks.
So
Mhm.
let's jump into here, and I just wanted to give you a snapshot. Remember when I share these with you, our job is to be the economist of choice. And the best way to be the economist of choice is to use numbers when possible. Hey, how's the real estate market? You say it's hot, it's good. Well, is it good or bad? Because if you want to buy, and you got $250,000 right now, and you're a buyer, I don't know if I'd call that a good market. I'm like, hold on for a wild ride, and we pray, right? We'll go pray. Is there a saint that we can dig and see, bury something for buyers, Kimbra?
He said it's a thing that we can bury.
Never,
from most-
okay, I don't know if you know this, HAR, does it still have, if you can't sell a property, what are you supposed to do? Kimbra? No, when you can't, no, I'm talking about what do you bury?
Oh, thank you.
St. Joseph. I don't know if we have a St. Joseph. Sorry, I've lost control of it. For the buyers. We do have something for the seller that you dig and you bury it. And if your seller doesn't believe in it, you don't tell them. You sneak in the middle of the night and you bury it.
We've had the court sale, one of our sellers saw a woman come up and lay hands on the house that wanted to buy it. She believed it.
Yeah, she was claiming it.
Yes. All right, we've just so you that's the market that we're in. So let's jump into it. This is just a quick little graph just to give you a snapshot. This is Fort Bend County. And here's if you've seen this report, it breaks it down in 3 different ways that we look for know what we're looking for. This is just months plus. This is the screen I'm looking at. Don't go to this one first. All of Fort Bend, right? All property types, everything that we're dealing with, we are right now at about a 0.7 month supply of inventory. And if you look back over 2 years, we continue to go on and supply. We are continuing to eat up our inventory. So when you hear on the news that things are changing, or you hear somebody going, oh, I see it all being different, here's a fact. Our inventory continues to shrink. Month after month after month. That's fact number 1. There's the next thing is, you look at your for sale, this is for sale, this is pending, and this is also sold, right? So currently in Fort Bend, right, you have basically a little over 1,400 properties for sale. So not a lot. And so your for sales are decreasing, but your pendings are increasing, and your for sales are just having a hard time. So you're going to hear sometimes when you read a national report where they say, oh, this month the sales decreased. Over what month? Last month, which was a record year, and it's decreasing because we don't have the properties to buy. So it's creating a little bit of this frenzy, and we're seeing it in Fort Bend County. All right, here's the next snapshot. Here we go. This is for Sugar Land. Saw a little increase. People go, oh, it's getting a little bit better. Maybe the beginning of the year we didn't see much, but once again, all-time records for under contract and for sale. Just eating up the inventory. This is for Missouri City. Here's your month supply of inventory. Consistent with Fort Bend, about 0.7 months. Continue to say it's a seller's market. I give these snapshots. The reason I model this, I'm doing Fort Bend, I'm doing Sugar Land, I look at Missouri City, I look at Richmond, Rosenberg, but more importantly, you've got to look at the neighborhood that you're in. We can look at national. Gary Keller would sit up here and look at this as national. Here's your Missouri City, here's your for sales, your pendings, and your solds. Kind of interesting here is, you can kind of see it on the chart, but there's actually some months, right? There's pretty typical last year in May and July. Remember last year when we were looking at numbers, we went down into the shutdown about March, really showed up in April, really showed up in June, and then it slingshotted out of us. So we saw some really big numbers in July, in August, which we're kind of seeing right in here, but we're right on pace with that as well.
Our sales increased in March from, previous month, but it's starting to decrease now.
Well, yeah, and the reason I think it's important is you're gonna read language out there going, oh, we decreased in sales over the previous month, right? And you've got to go back and really look at a snapshot over time, and we can really dissect this and look at the values. And if people say, I'm overpaying for a property. I'm overpaying for a property is the term. Is that true? Then we get into inflation. I'll let somebody smarter than me talk about inflation, those things that count. But remember when we look at the graph, when we look at it, when we had that dip in the last recession, right? We're still, if you look on a track, really about where that should be right now when it comes to values. I'll let Dale explain inflation to him. He got a degree in inflation. He can explain that to us later.
Will the market support it?
Yes. Okay. And then here's looking at Richmond and Rosenberg. Here's your dynamics of moving forward. This month's supply of inventory. Once again, pretty consistent what you're seeing. 0.7. Good time. Anybody seen 0.7 in their career in inventory? John, you've been around a couple of days. Ever seen 0.7? Probably. I don't know. I've been with a lot of people not ever seeing what we're seeing right now. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what some factors and how is that going to move forward. And then we jump through again. Once again, this is looking at making sure I'm in the right place.
Rosenberg.
Yeah, Richmond Rosenberg. And you got to remember, Richmond Rosenberg has most of a lot of new construction. Some of this doesn't even end up on our report too. Remember you're talking about is, oh, we didn't even know if the property gets online before we sell it. We're seeing a lot of that too, by the way. Oh, I have the house just for you, but thinking about it, I don't have to put it on the home. I don't have to worry about anything through it yet. They'll give you the quality offer. We are seeing some of those. Now here's an interesting thing that I look at. As you jump forward, this is looking at properties up to 300,000 in Portland County. If you go back and you look at this is up to 300. You can see the impact it's having. Okay, interesting thing over 300, if you notice, is the contract is down over the last couple of years, and the sold is down as well. You know, why is that? There's not a lot of inventory. We just can't sell them. But then you jump up here and look at your increases to 500 plus. Having more pendings and solds. Just the market is becoming more competitive in that than we've ever seen before, which is increasing our sales price. So that's just me just giving a little bit of a snapshot as you look forward to it. So here's the question I have. Maybe you've been asked this question. Yeah, and the question, and I do it is, will it crash or will it boom? What is going to happen in our market? Okay. Say that again, say it loud. A lot of foreclosures, okay? Okay, I've heard that. We're hearing foreclosure, we're hearing interest rates are gonna go up. What goes up goes down. Kind of interesting. I've been studying this a lot. Anybody have a take on it? What's gonna happen, Jack?
mean, to me,
Actually, the delinquencies that we're seeing are going down right now.
yeah, I think in a couple of years, though, you're more likely to see that based on the prices.
I
that
don't think we're going to because it's an iBuying option.
Yeah.
So many people now have equity that did not have equity for the time. They can get on the phone and get an iBuyer, out and not be foreclosed on.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. That inventory will show up like we thought it was. And I tell you, the buyers that sat on the sidelines last year, they cried.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see the foreclosures happening right now. I could see that later based on the people who are getting into the market, but yeah.
iBuyers right now are actually cutting their fee to 5% instead of the 10% that we were seeing 6 months ago. And I'm starting to see
Yeah, and they're hedging their bet on the market increasing because they're seeing pretty good offers. I'm not gonna lie, there's some pretty good offers out there that they're presenting. Not like the 20% below market value.
All right, I'm gonna share my thoughts. Who am I to be right or wrong? This is my perspective. Why? Because I get to be the team leader, right? So I'm gonna sit up here and I like to listen to it. If you're asking me, my opinion to this is really, we're gonna for sure stay strong through the rest of the year. I believe it's gonna carry in all of the next year with this, and here's some reasons why I believe that. Now, I'm working on to be an economist. We do not have a crystal ball. Something catastrophic could always happen with our government, with our world, with our stock market. All those things can always happen, right? And so if you look at it as we're in such, right? We are 3.8 million single homes short right now across the nation. That doesn't get fixed if you look at these reports, by the way. So if you have buyers that are saying, hey, I'm going to wait until this gets over, it's not happening anytime soon. So that means you're going to choose to rent for the next year to 18 months. And if you do get a property, we believe that it's going to continue to go up in value. Could I be wrong? Sure. This is no guarantee, but we look at real estate, right? If you're planning on buying it and moving in a year or two, it's never a good investment. But if you're going to be there in 5 to 10, you're always going to be solid, right? Have you had one property that somebody's owned for 10 years didn't go up in value? Right? It always will. It's real estate. That's the number. So we have a number one is home builders are not keeping up with long-term growth. They are just not. That is a fact that home builders are not keeping up with the growth.
I would add to that, understanding that from a listing perspective, if you have relationships with like private builders, go find them the property to actually build and be part of that solution of coming up with housing solutions.
Okay, here's another fact. Millennials. There's a lot of them, by the way. Millennials are getting into their what, by the way? You are millennials. Into their 30s, right? And now they're doing is they're ready to make an impact to be a homeowner. Huh? And there's a difference between the two. Like when Andy and I bought our first home for $89,000 in Quail Valley, right? What are we seeing in millennials now?
Right. 350.
Yeah, but more importantly than that, it actually the value power that they have, they can actually go out and find more of a property. They're not even looking at the entry level. They're showing up, or they're getting gifts, right? I study a little bit of the market in San Diego, and you look, how are they buying these cookie cutter homes for these are cookie cutter homes, 1.4 million. They typically have a gift that's coming in from a parent or something. Probably because they're living in the basement and they want them out. I think there's a lot of people who've been living in the basement. It is, we don't have basements in Texas, I get that. Right, or in California, but sounds better. They've been living in the garage, attic, or wherever they've been, right? They didn't have a car, so they need to go buy a car. Anybody tried to buy a used car right now? The used car salesman to my son who needs a vehicle for college is, don't buy a car right now, was what he said. That's how the market is. And you can go in any of those lines of things right now. I don't know where these people, but the confidence is there, right? We look at consumer confidence and it still continues to be very high. Whatever your views and whatever's going on right now, you did see a decrease, right? No, excuse me. There's housing inventory has increased. Listen to this, on these major markets: Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, and New York. Yeah, there's it. Well, part of that is COVID. Some of them learned that they didn't have to work in those cities anymore and they could go to a different place and they could have more buying power in another market is the next. And you do have movement. You can't say everybody in California is not moving out. That's not true. Because there's a big, right now, is go to San Diego, Jack can tell us, go try to find a home. Right now, you can see some northern to southern. Not everybody's moving out of California, by the way. You know, in this report, which is done by Nomad, the hottest market, they said in their city, is Sacramento. Now they're moving out of the Bay Area to go to Sacramento, but they just have more buying power. They're able to go to those places. So there's another pattern, a couple other things that I wanted to do. Obviously, working from home has changed the dynamics of our house. Some people are like, I just need a different setup if I'm going to work from home. More Wi-Fi, another house, right? If you ever on a Zoom call, I'm like, we're having a hard time hearing you, and what do they say? Anybody know what the common term is? I got 2 college kids that are now home drawing on my Wi-Fi. I can't even make my own call. So that impacts plus the space. So the way we look at homes and the demand to it is totally changed. These are all indicators why I think our market continues to stay. The inventory is just over and over. And it says here, builder confidence in the market remains strong due to the lack of sales. You're going to see more builders coming. I think they just can't keep up. This is a big thing. Dale had this in another report for me. He sends me stuff. I do like to read this, by the way. So if this sounds like I'm just coming from nowhere, is with lumber prices going up $250,000 for a basic home, that's a nearly increase of $36,000 just with wood. Just with wood. My wife, this is a side note. We live on the San Bernard River. There's been some flooding. Not lived there. That's where kind of did. Maybe you've seen it. And there's lumber flying by, and she wants to get to go out there and get it. She goes, that's gold. Get it. We might. It's kind of funny and we're being a thought, but it's kind of not, right? And yet the interesting thing is, if you wanted to go order a whole bunch of lumber, could you have it at your driveway tomorrow morning? Yeah, you could.
You're gonna pay a pretty penny.
Oh, you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna be there. Yeah, 250% more than it was. Keeps going over the millennials, right? We have a new group of buyers that are coming to the market, and this kind of goes back to last week, winning with them. We've got to know how our millennials think, and they do not think the way that, I'll just say, myself thought when we bought our first entry-level home. We wanted to get out of an apartment and get in a home. We were just so excited. They've actually could have been saving up for it. And their views of what they own, they kind of want what their parents have or had when they moved out of school. Kind of interesting dynamics, but it's all these trends are really going to move up. But here's another thing is, U.S. homeownership is set to decline. Meaning people actually own a home is going to go down. What does that mean? You got more investors that are owning property, right? They're going to do things with it. And yet you have this whole wave of millennials that need a place to do it. The rental market's going to continue to be strong.
Short-term rentals going up more, second property homes increasing.
All right, here's the one piece that I'm going to hit the drag. The inflow of new mortgage delinquents, it dropped to a record low in March of 21. So all you ones are saying, here comes the foreclosures, not seeing it. Right? It's not coming back. Did that change? It could. Did the stimulus help them a little bit? Could have, right? To keep people out. But all these foreclosures that everybody was going to say, they're just not there because the delinquencies are actually down. Yeah, so, yes, go ahead, Kimbra.
I had an interesting listening appointment last night. A woman called me, she's like, when Governor Abbott decided he's cutting off the unemployment insurance, she goes, I can't get it. I have to get this house. That has to flood the house. It wasn't that. So you go to her house payment instead. She walked the dog.
That's what I'm interested to hear from Dale's perspective, since he is our economist on inflation. Is the job market enough to support these prices? So
Well, go back to the beginning of the pandemic, right? Which was, if you go and look at, it was a recession. Why is recession is, it met the criteria for falling things. Now you go, who was impacted? It was typically people who were not your homeowners. The people that are homeowners, right, had a record year, especially in 2020, and they continue to do it. I mean, they got more money at their disposal than they've had in a long time. And yet the ones that were impacted, right, were the retails and doing it. We see those continue back, and they've gotten some help from the government. Whatever your views on that along the way. Some of those are going to be removed and will have an impact. I'm just telling you, it's a slight impact. So if you're asking me sitting here today, I've been wrong before. I don't think you two have ever witnessed that, but I would just tell you going is, I just don't see this market changing in the next 12 to 18 months. I can sit here and be wrong. We have such a shortage. We still have some people that are reluctant to put the property online or sell, we'll say online, to sell it because they don't know where they're going to go. And the demand to get where they want to go is still great. Now, no matter what market, there's always what? An opportunity, right? There's always an opportunity, and you need to sit down and share numbers with them and give them a perspective and really walk them through it, because our job is to get somebody who's thinking about doing something in real estate, is give them the information they need to come to a decision. And it might be helping somebody who's in need. It might be telling somebody, I think we should stay back for a little bit, and here's why. But if we're a fiduciary, something Zillow's not going to do, something an iBuyer program is not going to do, right? Because it's not attached to an agent, right? Any of these other companies that come up, you're a fiduciary to walk them through it. So if you're going to be the economist of choice, you have to know and study it. I hope you study and read things along the way. I read articles and then I go, hold on.
Other way.
I study articles and then I go study our market. And when they're in alignment with what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, then I'm going to give it some weight. All right, but I'm not going to study the market in San Francisco in the Houston area. It's kind of like the last recession, right? In 2007, 8, 9, when it all got started. If you're listening to the national news, did that match what was going on in Houston? Kimbra? No. Because our values really didn't drop. Some of you go, they didn't have anywhere to drop to. We're the lowest place to own a home in the country, and yet our sales did have impact. We did see our foreclosures increase, but if you're in a different area working in it, that had no impact on that area. So economists of choice, know your local market, because every local market is different. Your neighborhood can be totally different from the neighborhood that's 30 minutes down the road. And that's never going to change. But we have to get this perspective and look at it, and then we look at the national economy over time. Okay? Final thoughts on that. I'm actually going to chew in Dale. I didn't set him up for this. We're going to go tomorrow. He's going to teach us about inflation. He's going to teach us about interest rates. He's going to teach us about delinquencies and on your mortgage payment, all in one shot. Well, depends what they're looking for. What are they looking to do? Long term? So are you worried about cash flow right now, or are you worried about building up equity? Okay, that's great. Okay, we're also in a very tight inventory. I'm not saying there's not properties in there. You have some cash to improve the property. If we find a distressed property that needs a lot of work.
Margin.
Yeah, so the part of that is if we find a distressed property that doesn't necessarily hit the market and get the 47 bids that come in, but there's still, you always look at it, there's still some homes that are not moving, by the way, and go on ours. We have properties that's been sitting there. I saw a property I was looking at the other day, that hasn't sold days, 1,000 and some. Well, if you're willing to take a risk and put it in there and fix up the property right, it could turn around and make money. It's just, you're gonna find a more unique property, and you're probably gonna need more cash to hand to be able to do something with it, in my opinion. It's still out there, right? Andy's been doing the investor class. You get somebody and go there, I just closed on my first home. What? It's typically something that didn't hit the market though. It was, hey, I need to get out. Hey, look, this is what could happen if you put it on the market, but I can buy it right now.
They want to play both sides in terms of finding something low, get it at that price, have some other properties that fit in their budget, are still gonna make a profit, and move them from there to there, and then do that property.
But Sharon, can you still find a property in this market? Yeah.
Knock on those doors.
Yeah, one now, but I'm I got three of them. I put them on the market. I don't put them on the market. You know, I just got invested in all of them. Why are you putting on the market? It's not invested.
And yeah, so let's go back to the fiduciary too. There's still a value, right, of buying the property, and they don't have to put it on the market, have 17 people trounce through it. They're not worried about inspections, right? There's an easy button, so to speak, and a convenience. It's still an opportunity. Is it harder to find and more competitive? Certainly. But as you go out there and visit with enough people, you can find those properties. Harder. And you really want to wait? Then wait to make a lot of money right now selling real estate? Wait 2 years.
Talk here.
Where they're going and why they want to do it.
I think the other important question as far as an investor goes is, well, how much money are they not making by waiting?
Yeah. Well, you still get into a major cash flow in inventory. The cash flow is, you don't necessarily need the cash flow, but if somebody really wants to make the cash flow along the way, they'll be tighter.
And the investor is now, obviously,
Well, that's statistic that I wrote. Home ownership is going to go down. And do we believe in home ownership? I do. I'm gonna own the home that I live in. Yeah.
The biggest thing is I put on to my body.
Yeah.
So if I'm not willing to buy it, either for myself, I'm not reaching out to my investors. I'm reaching out to my homeowners. Because I do kind of feel like all these homeowners out there, they're changing on the home.
Brutal.
Homeowners, and I agree with that when I first bought my house. You know, I do some of that, where I bought it from. And I keep all the conclusion on not going to have homeowners there. That's what happened in California and all those other states, because it was so high that a lot of the younger entrepreneurs are never not able to have homeowners. They may get money, but they couldn't have it because they couldn't buy.
What's Jack, you sold property in Southern California. What do you say to an investor out there? Yeah. Well, yeah, I talked to agents that live in Carmel Valley, Del Mar, San Diego, and they go, I can't find an investment property. And I'm like, then go further out, right? And that is go east. Yeah, so part of that too is Linda going, how do you find an investor? Go further. You get some real deals down in Missouri, Texas. I'm just starting to run in another area. There's an opportunity. You just have to look harder. Okay, so here's my final takeaway. Do I believe sitting in my position? This is not guaranteed. Some of you might roll your eyes. I don't think in the next 12 to 18 months this is fixing itself anytime soon with this market. It eventually will, but we have way too big of a gap with inventory. The numbers keep saying that. When we see a little bit of an uptick, we'll start telling another story. Haven't seen it yet on my radar, right? And if I haven't told you this, we need this office needs more listings. Sitting here with Andy and I doing this business and looking at it, we're at the lowest we've ever experienced in this office. You're like, ooh, and we're selling more than we ever have. Right? Selling more than we ever have and do it. We are, I think right now there's maybe 150 active listings in our market. That typically is about 400. And the 150 might have just came on, they'll be sold tomorrow, and the other ones we need to re-strategize. Remember, in the shift book, it's still a tale of two markets. You're either in the market or you're out. The market's bigger to be in it, easier to hit, but you can still be out of the market. You can still overprice the conditions, or just not reality. And in some areas, just neighborhoods, people aren't fond of that area, so it takes a little bit more to sell. So learn the skills, be the economist of choice. These were just a few numbers that I picked up, studied the market, so you're the economist and you can get really good information to move people forward. They need help more than ever, by the way. People, they're confused because they Googled it online and they think they're now an expert, or their uncle is in their ear telling them something. And yet, anybody else have that scenario? I just got like 5 from people calling me venting about this, right? Hey, what do I do? Because uncle's in their ear telling them what they should and shouldn't have got. Because he's an expert, because he sold 10 years ago and he knows. I'm being a little obnoxious, but that's the reality is the only way you do that is you sit down, you know your numbers, you really go over it, you look at trends, and then we make a decision moving forward.
And they don't feel comfortable with what you're telling them, you're not giving them enough time. So if they're listening to an uncle or that means people are going enough.
Sure. And if they're showing up that way and they won't listen to them, fire them there, not to fire them. You say, I choose not to work with you because I don't believe I can meet your expectations. Because if they're difficult then, they're only going to get worse down the road. Would you agree? Okay, great.
There's
I'm looking.
conversation.
Would you agree? Okay, you've got to do it. If they're difficult from the moment, they're only going to get worse. And it's okay to go, look, you know what? I'd rather part now as friends than you could get somebody who can meet your expectations in your head going, your unrealistic expectations. I got a friend that can help you. Yeah. And don't take the call if you're the friend. You get the referral. All right, so keep competing, keep learning, keep studying the market and moving forward as well. All right, let's go to our vendor partners. Who's ready? Dale, you ready? Dale, you got to use inflation. What else did I say? Interest rate forecast and foreclosure delinquency. Come on up to the counter.
Thank you very much. Well, good morning, everyone.
about all of that. That's an economist, and economists have their own opinions. They're gonna tell you something completely different from the next guy that comes along. So, what we're seeing in our industry is with these huge increases in values, and people just off the cuff, just saying, I want the house, I'll pay whatever I have to. We're seeing the conditions of some of these properties is way below par. And where that is an issue for us as a lender, you want to get the technical term is that it is insufficient collateral to securitize the loan. And what that means is that the house condition, in the opinion of underwriters and investors, is that the property is not going to be able to get approved for a loan. So when you're out there, if it's just about putting buyers in homes and willing to make offers at whatever price, you've got to look at that property and say, well, will we have issues down the road? Just because they pay extra dollars, if the property has deficiencies such as roofs, such as foundation issues, if we notice that there were plumbing issues or leaks due to our freeze back in February, that may disqualify the loan from that buyer getting financing. So know that going in. It's a great idea as a seller agent is to look at your home and notice deficiencies. If you notice walking into a home that there are leaks or there are spots on roofs, that may be an indication that something worse happened in the past. And we use appraisers as our eyes and ears to go to the house. They're required to take pictures of deficiencies with the house. That is our way of verifying the condition. So if it's something that you know that is taken care of and could be potentially removed from the house, if it's paint, if it's caulking, if it's small things like that, it makes sense. It makes the whole transaction go smoother. You guys have sat in on inspection reports. I've seen a 53-page inspection report. That guy was mad at somebody. He put that out. So my point is that do what you can if you're representing the seller, get the house in the best shape that it can to make certain that the buyers are not going to have issues with getting financing. And ultimately, we all want to sell the house. Everybody wants to get paid. The seller wants to get top dollar, and top dollar comes in a house that is in excellent shape. We can offer an incredible amount for the property, but as we go through inspections, then we start wanting to negotiate. Unfortunately, we're seeing that some sellers have this mentality that my house is worth the price of gold, and I'm not going to let it go for anything less. Again, you've got to have that conversation with your buyer. You prepare. One last thing that we're seeing in these offer situations, multiple offers where we're offering more money for a house than what it might potentially appraise, we've got to make certain, you as agents, make certain that that buyer has the funds to make up the difference. That's a conversation that needs to go on with their lender. Yes, they're going to have to bring money based on the lower of the two, the sales price or the appraisal. Most of the time it's the appraised value. In addition, they're going to have to make up the difference. So you need to have a conversation. Get with the lender that's presenting you with these pre-qualification letters. I love getting a call. I obviously want to help my buyer get it done, but I've done my research to know, can they make this transaction happen? So make that happen, have smooth transactions. Please use us. We're here. Tomorrow, we're going to help sponsor our event. It's over at Breakers. We'd love to have you all. I know there's going to be a couple of drink tickets. There's going to be
Two, Sharon.
Two, Sharon. Yes, sir. It depends upon the market. Appraisers look at past sales. And past sales are starting to catch up, meaning there are more sales to support these over asking price offers. So there's a little bit of a drag in the market as to what the sales in the past that you guys as agents are going to see for comps. The same way it works with an appraiser. It takes a little time, but we're starting to see that gap is starting to narrow a little bit because we have history now of homes selling above those prices.
So the question was, in general, are appraisals coming in lower than list?
That's a whole nother class
It
for
is.
another day, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the
Yeah. That's all.
Making sure they heard it.
But
And
thank you,
the
guys.
appraiser goes unsold. All right. Melissa with patent title, AKA used to be formerly known as the celebrity title.
Yes,
Go
and
ahead.
so actually, this is my very first in-person class, and I'm excited because I see all my friends
You
and
guys
everyone
are-
that,
yeah.
oh, hi.
Yeah.
Let's forget about them right now.
Yeah.
Let's just talk to you right now. 'Cause I'm not-
And we got lunch too.
Yeah,
We
we
got
got
lunch
lunch.
sponsor. You don't get lunch virtually, sorry. You
get lunch, it's just on your own.
Go ahead.
So really quick, sellers HOA addendum, that's coming up a lot with the title company, and we're getting, kind of like we're the bad guys right now, because we're presenting things in the end, fees that come up related to the HOA that were not communicated with the realtor. So basically, you need to know up front what transfer fees there are, cat fees, things like that. So on the HOA addendum, there's a number you write in. And what do you guys typically put? Do you just put an estimated number, like 500, like, well, whatever you do put. Okay, so anything over that, the seller pays. Well, what we're seeing now is, the fees can be up to like a yearly assessment fee. So the transfer fee could be $1,500, and the seller has to pay that, and you get to closing and they're like, transfer fee. Well, what is that? Well, because what I would suggest is you guys call ahead of time the HOA and ask them, what are the transfer fees? What are the fees associated in selling a home? If you know that and you present that to your seller, they won't be shocked at the time that they close. So that adds value to you because you're thinking ahead before you even sell it. So they're aware of these charges and aware of these fees, and it doesn't show up at closing, and they're like, well, what is this? And we're like, well, this is the middleman. We bring money, we put money out, so we're trying to explain everything, but, well, they never told me about that. So just do your due diligence and just know ahead of time, call the HOA and get all the fees associated with selling the home.
Advice.
That's the right expectation.
Well, here's what I learned with that is, some of the title companies didn't even know how to do this. And they were asking for advice, but more of them are becoming knowledgeable. And I think a lot of you, meaning producing agents, don't even understand the form. So slow down, understand what the cost is gonna be to acquire that property when it comes to HOA. And you probably should go with, who's our group that's fighting it, because HOAs are, off the chain. What's the group? Tree Pack, right? Tree Pack is fighting hard on the behalf of HOAs to get that back under control, because these transfer fees are getting ridiculous. They're fighting it. So that's another, if you don't follow Tree Pack and ride and support them, they do fight on the behalf of homeowners. And that's one thing that, whew, yeah.
Because we know as much about that.
Yeah.
You can't get an answer.
Yeah.
They will not,
It'll
they
take
don't
forever
use
or
an automated system to classify it to get the answer. Or they're always, it's not really-
Just keep going.
That's right.
The management company, and that's just what they
And
do.
then a lot of times they only want to talk to the seller.
But we get our sellers, let's just be proactive on it.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, good
Good stuff.
information,
Good
thanks.
stuff.
All right, speaking of lunch sponsor, did I tell you if you're an audience, we have a lunch for you? That's why John showed up, right? Exactly. Come on, Gene, I'm on.
Good afternoon.
It's your-
Good
it's
afternoon,
afternoon.
everybody. Hello, everybody online. Great to see you guys in person for the first time. I'm really excited to see you guys in person again. If you haven't met me, I'm Gene. I'm with Super. We're a Silicon Valley home warranty and services partner. I wanted to share with you guys some really, really big news. A lot has happened since I've been here last. The biggest news is that we actually just closed on a Series C round of funding. This is huge. It was led by Wells Fargo. So they are the leading bank in the world, obviously, a huge bank. They're partnered with us. And then NAR's investment arm, they actually invested in Super. We're the only home warranty partner that they invested in. So we're really, really excited about that. And what that means for you guys as agents is that we're going to continue to innovate. So he was talking about, having the right information and inspections and appraisals, just making sure that your clients are in a good place. We want to do the same thing on the warranty side. So if you flip to page 6 on the brochure, one of the things that we've done recently to innovate and provide more value is inspection protection. So a big pain point with home warranty, as all you guys know, is getting denials due to pre-existing conditions, right? We want to avoid that. So we already had something that was in place that was great. We didn't deny unknown pre-existing conditions. The problem came up where something might have been called out in an inspection report, and the agent maybe missed it, the client maybe didn't know to pay attention to it, and it was a known issue, so it was a genuine justified denial. So what we want to do now is give you guys equipment, give you guys information up front. You can send in the inspection report, ideally during the option period, and we'll let you know everything that will not get a denial due to pre-existing conditions in writing. So this is huge for both sides. If you're on the listing side, and you have a buyer's agent that's pushing for, repairs or whatever the case may be, we can actually send you a report and level set and say, this stuff's going to be covered. So our seller doesn't need to pay for this stuff. And on the other side, if you're on the buyer side, obviously there's value in this because now they'll know exactly what they need to pay attention to and what they don't, what's going to be covered. I had a client, an agent at another KW office submit one just 2 weeks ago. And they had everything that was cleared up, the HVAC was clear, it was protected. 2 days after closing, they had an AC breakdown. So they have certainty now, they have peace of mind knowing that we're going to cover it. So this is really powerful. And I actually had, talking about the seller's issue, I had a seller agent do the same thing. They called, it was an older AC, we submitted for inspection protection, it came back clear. The buyer's agent would now have peace of mind. They went forward with closing. They paid a little bit more to have it properly covered, but they had peace of mind knowing that they weren't going to have that issue. Seller didn't have to pay the thousands and replacing it, buyer moved forward with closing. So this is a really, really innovative product that I think is going to change the game. The thing in this market, I know a lot of people are not asking for a warranty in this market, and I get it. I understand why. You want to try to get the buyer in the home. Still mention this. This is still giving them a ton of transparency. A lot of agents are actually buying the warranty as a gift. A lot of buyers are actually putting their money up to purchase the warranty. This gives you so much more transparency and buying power, having that information up front. Doesn't cost anything to do it either, by the way. So, yes, ma'am.
So I always put a seller's policy in place.
Yeah.
The offer that was going on through.
We do have a seller's coverage, yeah. Yeah, seller's coverage is no cost, and ours covers repair and replace during the listing period, which is pretty unique, but there's no cost to the seller to do anything.
So at what stage is it best to ask for the inspection?
If you're on the buy side, I always recommend as soon as you get the inspection report to submit that for inspection. We'll pick the plan and then submit it for inspection protection. Because that allows you to get a single page, instead of having that 50, 60 page inspection report, we'll level set, give you one summary page that says all of these things are clear, these things you might need to pay attention to. So now you can go to the seller and say, hey, can we get some concessions or repairs on these items so that you can cover it? 1 day turnaround, 1 business day. So you submit something today, you'll have it back by end of day tomorrow. Because it's a newer plan, every single one of these that I get back, I call the agent or I'll send a video to the agent and the buyer to kind of walk through that report with you just so you kind of know what you're looking at. So it really helps to kind of clarify everything. Sure.
John, one last question. Yeah.
Well, we don't replace the inspection process or inspection report, but yes, when you. Right. To your point, I mean,
Don't hold back, John.
There's definitely some better inspectors than others. For
Yeah,
sure.
but this could eliminate the problem to say is these are the things that we will cover and not cover.
And we've seen thousands of reports, so we're not scared if it's an old system, but it's working properly. You know, we've seen that before, so we know what we're doing. Yeah, if it's old and it's not working, then obviously we're gonna call that out.
He's talking about the equipment on the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would upload it into the system. Correct. Yep. Exactly. And then, I mean, if it's a clean inspection, I've seen ones recently that all the major systems and appliances were covered upfront. They know that. So day one moving in close, if they have an issue, like the client literally had this just over the weekend, their AC moved, they moved in and AC broke down.
You
So-
didn't know what was wrong. You didn't have an inspection report.
Right.
How did you decide what? Because that's really something on our policy. That's a confusing policy.
For sure, yeah, what we,
Some policies are 700, some policies are 600, and then I never really know what they didn't cover.
Yeah.
I just had an incident with someone who's waters. I feel like I don't even know how to get a hold of them. I'm like,
All right, let's do this. You guys got a couple of questions. You're not leaving, are
No,
you?
no.
All right, we'll stick around to answer some more of those.
One question. You
I-
didn't know that.
I did. I thought
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a real quick answer.
Yeah, yeah.
The most common plan would be the signature plan for sure.
Hold on, right here, right here.
The most common plan would be the signature plan, which is the 699 plan. In terms of how we recover it before, if you don't do inspection protection, we still have unknown pre-existing condition coverage. So if it was working properly at the inspection, when they have a breakdown, it would then submit the report, show that it was working and we recovered. At this point, it level sets up front and it cuts down that time on the back end. So we can get it out a lot faster and get that thing repaired.
So when something before, you got started the question.
Correct.
Show it was working.
Correct,
And then you.
correct.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for lunch. We have lunch here. Thank you guys for joining us online. Don't forget, we're here in person. Still got some seating areas here, but if you want to join us virtually online, we'll get better virtually as well. But thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great day and we'll talk to you soon.
See you June 3rd too, Breakers.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Breakers.